Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Vividly Denisa. When did I last post? Maybe like a week or 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so I actually have a few minutes or like an hour before I have to go to work. That's why I'm all dolled up. So I just decided to make this video really quickly before I go to work because I don't know the next time I'll be able to have a chance to make a video. I know I say that all the time, but I'm super busy. But anyway, this video, I decided to make it about my stalking experience. And sorry if there are background sounds, my window's open because it's really hot here. So yeah, I'm making this video also keeping in mind that my mother is going to watch this and she doesn't know about this happening because I didn't want to worry her or want her to be scared about me because I'm fine. It's only like that one incident. So Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I love you. So anyway, this happened a while ago, like I would say either September or October of last year. I had just come to Japan, and it was in Namba. Namba, I think you guys have heard me mention Namba before, but it's like one of the bigger areas in Osaka. It's like Osaka City, like Namba area. And it was on a holiday, the Monday. Usually I work on national holidays, but for some reason, this holiday, my boss gave us the day off. So I'm like, yay, great, I don't have to work. So it was like a 3-day weekend. And so, since I had just come to Japan, I hadn't really had the chance of exploring that area. I worked there last year once a week on Tuesdays, and I had to go and then come back like right after because I had other classes in my city that I had to teach. So I didn't have time to like walk around and experience the Shinsaibashi or the shopping areas, in Namba. So this Monday I was like, I have nothing to do. I have a day to spend. Let me just do that. Let me just walk around Namba, take it all in. And so let me just give you like a brief overview of what I was wearing. I was wearing a shirt. It was like a two-piece, so like a shirt and pants that I got from Pink. They were the same color, like gray, light grayish color. I had just gotten my hair done. I had taken it out from the braids. I was feeling, feeling pretty good. I was dolled up. I was looking good. I had this pink backpack. It was a little bit bigger, but it was a pink backpack that I had all my stuff in, like a pink and black, hot pink and black backpack. And so I was feeling pretty good. And so I was walking down Shinsaibashi. Shinsaibashi is like a long, street. It's covered, so it's it looks like a long hallway, but there are like shopping areas, like stores on opposite sides, and most people just kind of like to walk. You don't really have to buy. It's just like a good walking experience with you or your friends. And so I was experiencing all of that. I stopped briefly to get Starbucks. They have these amazing waffles. They call them American waffles. They're delicious. And I got like a caramel macchiato. Sat there for about 15 to 20 minutes just eating on my phone, resting because I've been walking. And then I decided, okay, I'm just walking. Like it's after a few minutes, it all looks the same. And so I was like, okay, what else can I do? Because I have some more time. So I decided there's a store. It's by a group called Exile. If you know anything about Japan or into Japanese music, there's this music group called Exile. Sorry, I'm like not feeling good. But they have this store called 24 Carat, and I looked at the GPS and I was like, okay, it's not so far. I just have to take a train, transfer, and then walk a few minutes when I get to the stop. So I get into Homachi Station, which is about 5-10 minute walk from Shinsabashi, depending on your pace. I get there, get on the train, come out, transfer to the next train. I see this guy, which is like, okay, you see people all the time. Like, I saw him, like, I make eye contact with him, and I just kept it moving, because it's like, I'm not the only person in the station. Like, there are other people getting on the train. So I didn't really think about it. Get on the train, and then get to my stop, come out of my stop, and I'm walking. Like, I have my GPS, like, I have my phone like this, right? Because I don't know where I'm going. And I'm trying to, like, figure out, okay. And the thing with Google sometimes, like, Google Maps, I love Google Maps, it saves me. But then sometimes, like, you don't know where you're going, and so you have to, like, hold your phone to, like, match it to the arrow to make sure you're heading in the right direction. And so I would turn around in certain situations because I'm trying to figure out, is this the right direction? Am I heading the right way? And when I would turn around, I would see him. Like, I saw him. Like, I'm like, okay, aren't you the guy that I saw in the station? Didn't really think much about it then, because I'm like, it's still a coincidence. You know, you don't want to jump into conclusions that quickly. And so I was like, okay, we're just heading in the same direction. Didn't think much about it. I walk, find the store. Not that great, by the way. I was expecting more. It was hella small. 2 floors, not a lot of stuff. So it was a bit of a downer. And I got this book. And okay, so one of the members of Exile called Akira came up with a picture book. And I bought what I thought was it, but it wasn't. Like, it said the word, like, picture, like when you translate it. And so I was like, okay, this is the book. It's not. Like, when you open it, it's just Japanese. And I'm like, I can't read this. Maybe in the future, but right now I can't. This doesn't help me. And like, maybe like 2 pages of pictures. And it's like, really? Ugh. But yeah, lackluster. Got the book. And then I would say maybe I spent like 10 minutes in the store. I was like that. And then I came out. Now I have to figure out how to get back to Namba, because if I get back to Namba, it's easy for me to just take that one train back home. And so I was like, okay. Got back on my Google, trying to find the nearest station. And then I'm walking. Don't really think about anything. Don't think about the guy that I saw, because I haven't seen him. And so I'm walking to the station, and as you know, I have to get on that train, transfer one stop, and then get to Namba. I'm waiting for the train at the station. He passes me. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm like leaning on the pillar, like just waiting for the first train to get there. And he passes me, and he makes eye contact with me. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you're following me. I'm not like freaking out about it yet, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've come to the conclusion that you're following me, because it's been 30 minutes since the last time I saw you. Mind you, I've been walking to get to the store, got to the store 10 minutes, and now like walking to the train station. So it's about 30 minutes. Like, is it just a coincidence that we happen to spend the same time at whatever store we were going, and now like we're meeting at the same train station? So it was a bit weird. Wasn't really freaking out about it at the time. But then I'm like, think about it now, I'm like, you would make the worst spy, because we have made eye contact multiple times. If, like, how dumb do you think I am? Like, to not realize that you're following me, and you're not even trying to, like, hide it or be skillful at it. You're just, like, standing right next to me. Like, dude, I can see you in my peripheral. It's not that hard. But anyway, try not to think too much about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Get on the train, get to next stop, transfer, get on the last train, and he's on that train too. I'm like, okay. Now I'm freaking out a little bit because I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out a way to ditch this guy. Get to Namba station. I'm like, okay, Namba station, people, there are a lot of people. It's packed, especially on that day because it's a national holiday, so it's packed. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to lose him in the crowd. Maybe that will work. It didn't. And mind you, the reason why I mentioned what I was wearing before is because of this right here. I am tall, like I'm not short. I am about 5'10", 5'11", and so I stand out. Plus I'm black, obviously. And then I have a hot pink backpack, bright ass clothes. It's not helping my situation at all, trying to lose him in this crowd. And I'm like, okay. Denise said that didn't work. Let's think about something else. And since it's packed, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move real fast and hopefully like lose him with this amount of people. That didn't work. Okay. Plan number 3. When you're walking, like I need to get to the Nankai line area, and that's a bit of a ways from the Midosuji line, and so you have to walk a little bit underground. And in this area, there's some shops, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lose him. I'm just gonna walk into a store, spend a little time there, and then leave, because I'm like, okay, hopefully he's gone by then. And just so happens the store I walked in had headphones. So I'm like, oh, I need, Bluetooth headphones. And so I'm like wasting time there, like actually shopping because I need these headphones. Didn't find what I was looking for. Decided to leave. Where was he? He was right next to the door. Propped up on the door, just chilling, waiting for me to leave. And the reason I see him is because I pass him. Like, he's right here. He's right here. I pass him like this, and I see him, and at this point my heart is beating really fast, because as soon as I pass him, you can see him on your peripheral. He props himself up, and he's now walking behind me, and I'm like, I'm losing my mind at this point. My heart is racing really fast. I'm like, okay, I just want to get to the Nankai line, get on my train, because I'm like, you would not follow me home. Like, you wouldn't do that, because from Namba to my house is about, give or take, 35-40 minutes. I'm like, you're not gonna do that, are you? Didn't really think about that. Got on the train. Oh, before I got on the train, since I didn't really know like that area, so I would stop and ask questions, like the guys who work there with the white shirt and the blue pants and the hat, like the train guys. I don't know what they're called, but I would ask, like I stopped at one point and I asked one of the guys, I'm like, do you know Nankai line, where do I go? And he pointed, okay, go this way. As I turn around, he's there. Like, I stopped, he stopped. He's waiting for me to move. And I'm like, okay, this dude, you're insane. Get to Nankai line. I don't see him for a while, and I'm like, okay, yes, I lost him, or at least he gave up and he left. And the one reason, okay, I love like going home from Nankai line, because it's like, it's the final stop for that train. Like, Namba is the final stop. So if you're leaving from that area, it's the first stop. So the train gets there and it stays for about 5 minutes, let everyone come in, and then it leaves. Usually I'm fine with that because I get a seat because it's the first stop, and so I'm usually like one of the first people there, so I'm able to get a seat. So on other days it's a great, but for this day I'm pissed. I'm like, would you hurry up and leave? Because I'm sitting there hoping I don't see him and hoping he didn't get on this train, waiting for these doors to close. I'm sitting there, and where I'm sitting on the, I think the first car of the train, and I'm sitting on like the priority seats. So the only thing that's separating me and the other car is like the doors to get to the other car. I see him pass me. He passes my train, gets on the other train, sits on the priority seats, like adjacent from me, or parallel, I don't know what they call it, but like on this side. And so the only thing that's separating us are the doors. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're really about to follow me all the way home? I'm freaking out, even worse than I was. I get up from the priority seat, move to the other side, where, like the other side of the seat. So the only thing separating the priority seat and the other seats that I was sitting in is like the space where the doors are. I'm like, I'm trying to be as far away from you as possible, because at this point the train's already, like, people are coming in and it's filling up. And so just as the doors were about to close, he comes out of his train, walks into my train, sits where I was sitting in the priority seat. So now the only thing that separates us are the doors, like the space where the doors open and close. I'm like, okay, this is how you want to do it. This is what you want to do. All right, I can play that game with you. Okay, so I'm sitting on this train, trying to come up like with an idea or ways in which I can lose this man. Like, I'm trying to think, okay, what can I do? First idea that came to my head, I'm going to time the doors, because I had about like 6 stops before I got to my stop. And so I was like, I'm gonna time the doors and see how long they take once they open to close. Hopefully, like, I can run out, like when it gets to my stop, just run out as fast as I can, just as the doors are about to close, and I would lose him like that. That was one of the plans. The second plan was like, if that doesn't work, I need to tell someone. I need to get someone to help me. So what I do, thank God for Google. Google is amazing. Google Translate. I was able to write out on Google Translate from English to Japanese, like, please help me. This guy behind me has been following me for a long time. Can you please help me? And so I wrote that. I was like, I'm going to show someone. My idea of who to show was there was a 7-Eleven right next to the station that I go to all the time. And there's this guy, he's very friendly. He likes to talk to me. He likes to talk to all foreigners, really. And so I was like, I'm going to show him this, and he'll be able to help me because he's a very nice guy. And so that was like my idea. And so the first plan, took the first plan in motion. The running out as soon as possible. So I get on my stop and I'm like, okay, I'm just sitting there, like, nothing is happening. I don't need to get off the stop. Don't look at me. I'm just acting normal. And then, like, right as the doors are about to close, I run out. He gets up as soon as I get up, and he runs out right behind me. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I am at this point, it's taking me everything not to turn around and punch him in the face, because I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? I've never felt this frustrated about anything before in my life. So I was like, okay, no stress, plan B. I actually, instead of the 7-Eleven guy, because he's a ways, he's not that far from the station, but I was like, instead of him, I'm just going to ask one of the people at the information desk at the train, the ones with the white, shirt and the blue pants and the hat, because they're always there to, like, help you. And, like, their office is, like, a small, like, room with sliding doors, like, glass doors. And so I go in, and I see him. He's, like, he stops right in front of the door, and he's waiting for me to come out. And so I show them my phone, and I'm like, I don't see anything. And I show them my phone, and I'm pointing, like, I'm trying not to do like this so he doesn't see me, but I'm, like, pointing, like, that guy over there, he's been following me. And so the guy, the information desk read it, and he said, Kobang, do you want Kobang? And Kobang is like a police box. They have them around town or around whatever city you're in. And so I was like, yeah, Kobang. I knew the nearest Kobang, but I wanted him to go with me. I didn't want to go by myself. So he was like, okay. And then he took me, and the guy probably thought that I was looking for directions, which is crazy because I'm like, it's already night, obviously I'm trying to go home. Where am I trying to go in this town? But apparently he thought, oh, she's just looking for directions. Let me keep following her. He keeps following me, and the way where the Kobang is, so my station is like, it has like different, when you get to a hallway, it has different exits, and the exit where the Kobang is, it's like at the bottom of the longest stairs. And the stairs are covered with like a canopy, so like a shade. So you don't see the bottom of the stairs until you get to the bottom of the stairs. And if you don't know this area, then you wouldn't know there's a Kobang box right next to it. And so he is following us. And so, but he's keeping his distance, of course. Like, I guess now he wants to keep his distance. But we get to the box, there are 2 police officers. And so the guy that was helping me was trying to tell them what was going on. And I see him, as he gets to the bottom, he figures out this is a Kobang box and goes to the other side, like he's trying to get away. And so the police come out and they're looking for him and they can't find him. And they're like, okay, sit down in the office and relax. We're gonna go look for him. I'm like, you guys don't know what he looks like. But, oh yeah, I did take a picture of the guy. I did take a picture while I was on the train. That was one of the things that I was able to give to them when they, finally caught him. It was like, yeah, this is the guy. Like, I'm not lying. But I took a picture of him on the train while he was sitting next to me. And he was wearing like all blue, like blue top, blue pants, blue shoes. So yeah, I was sitting in there just waiting. Something in the back of my mind was like, girl, get up and look outside. I got up, looked out the window, and there he was on the other side of the street, walking past the Kobang box. I was like, you knew he didn't know where he was, because if you knew where you were in that station, where he went, you can easily find an entrance to this train station and leave. He didn't know where he was, so he didn't know where he was going. And he was trying to figure out the best way to get away. And so I run out of the station and I'm like pointing at him, there he is. And they catch him. And there's 2, like, Japanese police officers are so nice, at least the ones that I met. They were like trying to stop him. They were like going like, stop, chotomate. And he was like trying to get past them. At least I think they were trying not to touch him, but like they were like hands like this, like stop. But then next thing I know, like 8 other police officers come out of nowhere, some in cars, some in their little scooters, and they're like all corner him and they're trying to get him to stop. Finally get him to stop, put him in the car, and now I can kind of like breathe a fresh air, like a sigh of relief. And then the waterworks started. I think that the whole thing that happened was just like, when it was going on, like I had a lot of adrenaline pumping, that I was just kind of trying to figure out what I need to do to get it away from the situation. That when it was resolved, the fear kind of kicked in, and then it was just like tears. just tears would just come out. Like, I wasn't sobbing like, oh, but it's like my eyes, like water was just pouring out, and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. So they call an English-speaking police officer. She also happens to be female, and she's like trying to figure out what's going on. And so they move me to a soft station right across town. And so I'm sitting in this interrogation room. Mind you, it's not like you see in TV shows with like the 2-way mirrors and the big ass room with the big table. No, it's like those interrogation rooms in those 78-hour murder TV shows where they have to find the who did it in like a few hours, in my small white room with a table that's connected to the wall, and it's very tight, and there's like 3 or 4 people, including myself, sitting in this room. It was so surreal. So there were 2 female police officers. One of them was the translator. And so they were getting my statement. And at this point is when I realized just how long he was following me, about 3 hours. He followed me for 3 hours because, and thankfully, the fact that I was lost, meaning I had to use Google Maps. And if you're trying to take a train, it would tell you what time to get on the train and what time you would get there. And so because of that, I was able to figure out just how long he had been following me. And even the police officer was like, is he crazy? Like, baka janeka? Like, was he stupid? Because it was just too much. And then, you know, they interrogating him, and they were telling me, like, you know, he had pictures of you on his phone, video, and he said the reason he followed you was because you're the kind of girl he likes. And I was like, dude, if you like someone, walk up to them and talk to them. Like, that's what normal people do. Who decides, I'm just gonna keep following her? Eventually something would happen. I don't know, like magic, I guess. Like, it just blew my mind. And so, and I think one of the other reasons I started crying again was because it just made me realize just how alone I was in Japan. Because at the time, I didn't have any friends. I hadn't met my best friend right now. I hadn't met her yet. And so, like, the only people I could talk to were my family. And because of the time difference, they were all asleep. And so I couldn't call them at the time. And I was like just crying. I was like, I'm so alone. Like, if I was back in the US, they would come get me in a heartbeat. So I was feeling a bit sad. But then it made me realize that the people I work with are amazing. My boss, I called him. And mind you, it was like almost 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. I called him and I told him. He was like, where are you? I'll come get you. Like, wait right there. I'll come get you. And he came. He came to get me. Before I get to that, what happened with him? Apparently, it ain't a crime. In Japan, it's not a crime to follow someone almost to the point of to their house. So they were like, there's nothing we can really do. We have to let him go, but we can scold him. Okay, scold him. If it was so easy when someone did something wrong to scold them and everything would be fine, the world would be such a great place. It would be an amazing place with no prisons. Why would we have prisons if you could just scold people? And I'm like, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be rude because they were helping me. And so I just kind of kept my mouth shut. But I was so frustrated because it did kind of feel like a waste of time. Like, why are you taking my statement if you're just going to let him go? And they were like, oh, the prosecutor will decide. But we're going to have detectives come get you on Thursday because it happened on a Monday. And Thursday was like the only free time I had. They will come get you and you'll take them around everywhere. You're wasting my time again because nothing is going to happen. And nothing happened. They came pick me up, took me around for like 2-3 hours, taking pictures, having me stand there, point at where I saw him, taking pictures of me doing that, writing things down, and I never heard back from them. Not even a courtesy call to say, we're not going to pursue this, or this. Never heard back from them. And it's not even like, oh, we can talk to you in English, because the police officer who translated for me, she had my number. She even called me the day the detectives were coming to let me know they were coming. So I'm like, you have a way to contact me. Or you can contact my boss because you have my boss's number, so you can tell him to relay that information to me. But they didn't. Never heard back from them ever again. Don't know what happened about the case. And I'm like, the least you can do is a courtesy call, even if you're not going to do anything. It's not that hard to do, just to call someone and say, sorry, this is what they decided. I would have been fine with that. So I was a bit ticked off because I'm like, you just did all that, wasting my time. And I know it's say wasting my time, but that's how I felt. I felt so frustrated about everything. But anyway, didn't say anything because I didn't want to seem rude. But yeah, my coworkers were amazing. Word travels in my office, in my job, because there's not a lot of us. And so when I got to work the next day, they were all like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? They're all very sweet people. That was the best thing that I realized out of that situation, is that I can always count on them as my second family, because my family, they're so far away and they can be right there for me when I need them. And so it was nice to have them look out for me, and so that was great. So yeah, that was my experience in Japan when it came to my stalking experience. It's all good. You know, I was traumatized for the first few weeks. I was a lot cautious about what I was wearing. I didn't want to stand out anymore. And so I would wear like baggy clothes and try to, you know, stay away from certain places. Yeah, so it was traumatized because I didn't want to run into him again. And so it was a bit traumatizing, but I got over it. I'm fine now. So just wanted to tell that story because I know everyone has, well, not everyone, but you know, it's happened to a few people, and it, you know, happens in different ways. And I was lucky that he didn't follow me all the way home. And so like I didn't even want to talk to him or anything like that. So I'm glad I was able to find someone to help me to get in contact with the police, so they were able to deal with that for me. And so I would say, if you're ever in that situation, just go into a cold bond box. That's the best solution for you. Do not let him follow you home. Do not let him follow you. And in my mind, I'm like, I shouldn't have let him follow me that long, but I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. So I'm telling you now, as an advice, if you're in that situation, just go into a cold bond box. Even if you can't figure out what to say, he would figure it out and just take off. Because I'm like, cold bond, it's like obvious, it's a police station. But yeah, that is the best solution for you in that kind of situation. So I hope this video helps anyone. If you're in that kind of situation in the future, it helps you know what to do. But this has been Vividly Denisa. Thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you guys for being my listening ears. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.